This is Keep the Faith Ministry News. I'm Hal Mayer. Pope Francis met with Russian Patriarch Kirill on February 12. Their two churches have been separated for more than 1,000 years. Kirill is the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, which is involved in Russian politics. There is much more than ecumenical unity involved in their meeting. It has large geopolitical implications. Russian Patriarch Kirill is deeply involved in the Kremlin's Federal Security Services, or the FSB. That means that the Russian government and the Orthodox Church are closely united. During the Ukrainian crisis, as pro-Russian and pro-Western groups battled for the future of Ukraine, many thought that Pope Francis would come to the aid of Ukrainian Catholics. But Pope Francis was silent, even though Ukrainian Catholics were being expelled from their homes in Crimea. The Vatican consistently refused to stand up for them, even though they are all pro-Western. The Vatican's stance on Ukraine was similar to Russia's. Russian President Vladimir Putin has met twice with Pope Francis, particularly during the Ukrainian conflict. He wants to change the political climate and is using the Orthodox Church to act as his public relations agent. The Kremlin sees the Vatican as a multidimensional power, bigger than the West, and needs the Vatican's help to work through delicate issues with Washington and other Western powers. Putin convinced the Patriarch to meet with the Pope. In February of 2015, the Pope condemned the fratricidal violence in Ukraine, mirroring Russia's position. Russia has always referred to the conflict in Ukraine as a civil war. The Pope also told the Ukrainian bishops to stay out of politics, saying that recent historical events that have marked your land are still present in the collective memory. These are questions that have in part a political basis and to which you are not called to give a direct answer. Later in February of 2015, Patriarch Kirill publicly thanked the Vatican for its stance on Ukraine. "I would like to note with satisfaction," said Kirill, "that the Holy See itself has always pursued a balanced stance toward the situation in Ukraine and has avoided any lopsided assessments, but has called for peace talks and an end to armed clashes." And while the papal behavior toward Ukraine angered Ukrainian Catholics who felt betrayed, it no doubt played a key role in paving the way for the meeting between Patriarch Kirill and Pope Francis in Cuba. He knew that if there was ever any hope of rapprochement between the Russian Orthodox and Catholic churches, he would have to tread very carefully on Ukraine. And tiptoe he did. His public comments were either neutral or in line with the Russian position. The Pope may even have larger issues in mind. Could he be working to pave the way for a deal between Germany and Europe with Russia? Pope Francis knows that in Russia, politics and religion are united. Therefore, if he is going to influence the political realm, he must also have peace with the Orthodox Church. Europe is also undergoing a sea change in regard to its own security. No longer as dependent on the United States for security, Germany is now raising up its own military, which is the cause of the current clash between German Chancellor Angela Merkel and Russian President Putin. The Vatican certainly has these issues in mind. At the same time, Germany is careful about its relationship with Russia by refusing to let Georgia and the Ukraine join NATO and by refusing to intervene in the Ukraine. The meeting between the Pope and the Patriarch could not come at a better time for both Russia and Europe. For Russia, having the Pope stand side by side with the Russian Patriarch has huge PR significance at a time when Russia is dealing with the economic problems of low oil prices, a dramatic decline in the ruble, ongoing sanctions, and its involvement with the bloodbath in Syria. Russia needs the Vatican to help resolve issues with Europe. At the same time, the Pope is trying to reunite all of its offshoots with Rome. He knows that doing so will go a long way to establishing papal control over the world political order. There is a lot in play now, and the meeting between the two men strengthens papal influence in the East, a key element of end-time prophecy. And all the world wondered after the beast. Revelation 13, verse 3. This is Keep the Faith Ministry News. Thank you for watching.